children who are bullied are found to often suffer from low self-esteem, poor academic performance, depression, and an increased risk for suicide. The mental health portfolio at Pharma Dynamics has previously estimated that in South Africa, about 41% of children are bullied at school in some shape or form, which can increase the risk of depressive disorders and the need for psychiatric treatment, and that's later in life. To discuss some of the long-term effects of bullying, let's bring in clinical psychologist Simphiwe Sinkoyi, who joins us now via our video link to expand on this a bit more. Simphiwe, it's great to have you on. Thanks so much for your time. We'll unpack the effects of bullying in just a moment, but oftentimes when there's widespread outrage and deep-seated anger and hurt because of some instance, of course, many people come out to hone in, rightly so, on the underlying reasons for this. But do you often find that we have the same conversations? To what extent do you think we're moving forward on things like mental health?
With regards to bullying, we are not doing enough like we're supposed to. The schools are supposed to comply with the laws of the country in terms of prevention of bullying. School governing bodies are supposed to prioritize bullying because it has long-term effects that do not affect the child only during school times. It has long-term effects that have a bearing on the development, complete development of the child. So, in my view, this should be part of the agenda of school governing bodies as a preventive measure, so that there's collaboration between families and the school in the prevention of bullying, mostly children. Now, when it comes to adult bullying, which we will see at work, we'll see in churches, we'll see in the streets, we'll see it even in traffic. That one is at a different level. It should be addressed through necessary authority figures to prevent it from persisting. Basically, to answer you, we're not doing enough, and I think we should take it seriously and put measures in place.
Often it also sometimes feels like the conversation is very theoretical, and many people will struggle to place what the practical implications are. When we talk about preventing bullying from taking place, what does that look like?
Basically, these are conversations that should be encouraged. The children should be taught from an early age to recognize the signs and symptoms of a bully and be encouraged to report bullying. Now, you will find that children have symptoms of being bullied, but we as parents do not pick them up. There are a lot of symptoms of being bullied that we will recognize in our children. For example, you will find out that the child start being withdrawn for no reason. The child has unexplained marks in their bodies. The child prefers to take different routes to school. The child doesn't want to go to school. Their performance at school drops. And then it's very important to pay attention to our children as parents. Keep a close relationship with your child so that your child is comfortable to tell you as a parent when they're being bullied. So, I mean, I know that it's easier said than done because we are busy, we have our stressful situations, but this is of utmost importance. I had a mother tell me that she was saved by the close relationship that she kept with her child's friends who were able to come to her and tell her that so-and-so's mom, that is the child that is bullying your child, So that's also important. Keep a close relationship with of your children. So that, I mean, it's part of the prevention measures.
Absolutely. You know, there's a great sense, even from reflections from her funeral today, that Lufuno was failed by many people. In fact, their presidency's office has admitted as much. But when it comes to the attention you speak about and the noises we make, how much of that goes into actually understanding what turns a child into a bully to begin with?
There is no single reason, there's no single cause of bullying. Some children, when they are, I mean, with children, they act out what their worldview is, mostly at home. With children, it's simply acting out behavior in psychological terms. A child will bully others because they are communicating something that is happening in their private lives at home most of the time. There may be an expression of anger. Maybe the child is neglected at home. Maybe the child is abandoned. Maybe the child experiences an emotional distance from their parents. Maybe the child is abused themselves. They are being bullied themselves, maybe by an uncle, by a next door neighbor, or by a father, or any other child for that matter. So basically it's like any form of abuse. It happens in a cycle. So it's difficult to pinpoint and say, this is the finger on the pulse, this is what causes it, because it comes in different etiological factors. So each situation is unique. So to fully understand what is going on, what causes the child to be abusive, it must be studied at its own unique form.
Sure. Simphiwe Sinkoyi, thanks very much indeed for your time. Really appreciate your reflections as we try and make sense of how we got here to begin with, of course, to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Appreciate your agreeing to speak to us once again. Simphiwe Sinkoyi is a clinical psychologist. Thanks very much indeed.